Hi, I'm Natasha, and today I'm going to show you how to make a mug. I made this mug right here, and I love it because it shows a little bit about my personality. I love pink, oranges, marble texture, and of course, monograms. So I'm really excited to show you how to make this mug. Let's get to it. Making a mug might seem intimidating because there are lots of intricate designs, but here's a secret. It's actually pretty simple to make with infusible ink transfer sheets. Let me show you what you need today. First, you'll need a connected device with design space. I have my Cricut Mug Press here, a cutting machine, of course my Cricut infusible ink transfer sheets, a cutting mat, as well as some other accessories that I'll walk through when we use it. Today I'm using a 15-ounce Cricut mug and a pressing mat. So let's get started in design space. I have my project pulled up here and I already chose the font that I want to use. In order to add a little extra design element to it, I'm going to add an offset to this letter. So I'm adding a 1/4 inch offset and then I can hit apply. Because I want my design on both sides of the mug, I'm going to copy and paste this letter and its offset so I can use it on the other side. I'm going to line up those letters where I want them and make sure that they are aligned vertically. So I'm going to center them. Now I'm going to add what's called a slice to this design. So I'm going to select this offset feature and the backer, which will act as the infusible ink transfer sheet, and then I'm going to slice it right here. As soon as that's done, I'm going to do the same to the other side. Now it's hidden behind, so I'm going to bring this to the back and do the same thing on the other side. So I'll select the other end's offset and the infusible ink transfer sheet and slice that again. So now both sides are even, and I'm going to get rid of the parts that I don't want as part of my design. So I'm going to delete this part, delete this offset, and that extra offset. Now you can see that there's a little cutout for my design. Now when I select all of these things, I'll need to attach it so it cuts out all at one time with the same infusible ink transfer sheet. I have this template here that helped me guide where I want it on my mug, but I'm going to hide that so that when I attach this all, the machine knows it's all one color that I'm cutting from. Okay, that was a lot, but let's keep going. We are going to hit Make It. And because it's a letter, it's a text, I want to make sure to mirror it because it's going onto the mug like a stamp, so it needs to be backward when it cuts. So I'm going to mirror this design right here and hit continue. Now it's connecting to my cutting machine via Bluetooth and I can start to prep my mat. I'm taking off this clear backer off of this cutting mat, and that's because this cutting mat is sticky, so it holds down my infusible ink in place. So the clear protector just preserves the stickiness of this mat. I'm going to look at the design and decide which way I want it to face, just because it has this marble pattern here. And then I'm going to take the corner and line it up to the mat. I'm smoothing this here so my hands are not wet. They won't mess with the infusible ink because infusible ink is an ink, so I don't want any oils or water to mess with this design as I'm touching it. Now on Design Space, I can say which material I'm using. So I'm using an infusible ink transfer sheet. And now I'm going to load my material into the cutting machine. Right now, the machine is measuring to make sure that I have enough infusible ink material on my mat for the design that I designed in Design Space. So now that the go button is blinking, I can press that to have it start cutting. While that's cutting, I'm going to go ahead and start preheating my mug press. It's red right now, but as soon as the temperature is up to speed, it'll turn green. Okay, and now this is all done cutting. So I'm going to flip this over and take off the material from my mat. And I flipped it over so I could bend the cutting mat and not the material and have the material curl. So you can see here that the machine has cut through part of the design all the way and some of the design just part of the way. We call that a kiss cut, and I'll show you in just a second what I'm talking about. Here we go. We're gonna detach the parts that it cut all the way through the backer, and now we'll weed through the parts that it didn't cut through. That's the kiss cut I was talking about. We cut it through all the way so that it was the perfect mug design template to fit around this mug. And you can find these on Design Space, which is really nice. So I'm gonna take off this part here. I'm gonna take away this offset part here. Okay, and then one last part, and that's it. Okay, now we have my mug design all ready to go, cut perfectly to fit this 15-ounce mug. But now we need to prep our mug. So I want to make sure there aren't any particles, any lint or dust that will interfere with the design of my infusible ink. So I'm going to take a lint roller here, and just to make sure that there's nothing there. So I'm cleaning this pretty well. You can also use an alcohol-free wipe if you want to. Okay. And now it's time to put the infusible ink on my mug. And it can be kind of tricky to line up the design right where you want it on the mug, especially because this is a beveled mug. And then I'm going to take my template here, my design. I want to make sure that my handle and that middle of the design line up. And that's what's nice about the part here that we weeded out. This is sticky, so it'll stick to the mug and help me place where I want that. And I'm kind of pulling tight so that there aren't any pockets or gaps between the infusible ink and my mug. As soon as I have one side down, I'll press that and smooth that down. And then I'll kind of readjust and make sure everything is straight before I press down on this side. And you can see there's a little rip here, so I'm going to use my heat-resistant tape to help me secure that down. So I'm going to set that tape down and replace this. So I'm kind of pulling taut here and smoothing out there. And that is looking really good. So I'm going to take this heat-resistant tape and put it right here. And just for good measure, I'm going to put this right there. Okay, and my mug is all prepped to put inside of the mug press. Now that the mug press power button is green, everything is ready to go for me to insert my mug. So I'm going to insert this into the mug press at a little bit of an angle to make sure that it doesn't get stuck. And then I'll slide it in and push down on this lever. These 5 LED indicators act as a progress bar. So as soon as it gets to the 5th one, then we'll be done. And look at that, perfect timing, but it's still pulsing. So we're waiting for the LED indicators to get to the solid 5 lights before we can open up the lever and take our mug out. You'll want to make sure that you have a heat or something to protect your surface because this mug will be really hot, but the handle stays cool, so don't worry about touching that when you take it out. Now we have our 5 LED indicators and they've all lit up, so I'm going to open up this lever here and slowly take out my mug and set it down here. And now we wait for it to cool before we reveal our design. Okay, I think this is ready for real. I'm just gonna move some things here to make some room because now that this is all cool, it's time for the big reveal. So I'm gonna take this tape off here. And look how cute this is. I'm obsessed. I love how vibrant that the colors are. It perfectly matches the pink handle, the inside pink. I love how this mug turned out. I feel like it perfectly depicts my personality. It's got lots of color, it's kind of funky, and I can't wait to show it off. So if you're looking for other projects to make, check out our other videos. There's tons of presents and gifts and crafts that you can make.